been replaced. From ear to ear, I see that fear in your face. Tell me when the last time you felt safe, cause there's some evil people in the streets. Evil at your front door, creeping while you sleep. It's time to raise up, show that evil we ain't weak. We don't turn the other cheek, I can show you how to be strong. Come on, follow me. Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy, I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up. We go.
My microphone was muted, wasn't it? That's okay. It'd be like that sometimes. Today is one of those days, you guys, so just bear with me. Welcome to Insights of a Survivor. My name is PJ. I was expecting a guest tonight, but I'm thinking that maybe she didn't get to me in time, so I always have a backup. So again, I want to thank you. Welcome to Insights of the Survivor. I am PJ, and this is a space where survivors are honored, stories are shared, and healing becomes a collective journey. I'm truly grateful you've chosen to join me tonight, whether you're listening for yourself, for someone you care about, or just to gain understanding. Know that you are seen and you are not alone. So before we get started, I want to offer a gentle trigger warning. Well, it's not gentle, it's a trigger warning. Tonight, we will be talking about experiences of abuse, sexual assault, and a complex journey of reclaiming life after trauma. This conversation may bring up emotions, intense emotions, memories, or feelings, or it's going to trigger you. It could trigger you. So please, please, please honor your boundaries. And if at any point you need to step away, you need to pause, you need to turn this off, take care of yourself, that is absolutely, absolutely okay. Okay, so you are your own first priority. Period. So I want to be very clear about one thing. And I was told that this is something I should be saying, and this is going to be counted towards anything I've ever done. Okay. The reflections and guidance shared here tonight are not substitutions for any type of medical advice, therapy, or professional support at all. Healing is a deeply personal and sometimes medically necessary journey. So if you are in a crisis, struggling with thoughts of harm, or in need of urgent support, I encourage you to reach out immediately to a licensed medical professional, if a trusted therapist, or a crisis hotline. You don't have to navigate through these experiences alone, and I'm not here to be your therapist. I am here to help you with my healing journey. I wish I could, but I don't have those types of credentials. I have other credentials, but I'm not a therapist. I'm not a medical professional, and this alone, especially if you're going through something, cannot help you. You would definitely need to reach out to someone who is more certified. So tonight's episode is about something very personal and real. Moving beyond labels, beyond the word victim, beyond the word survivor, and stepping fully into becoming an empowered advocate for yourself and for others. So often, our society, even our own minds, it gives us these labels. And while they can reflect our own experiences, they can also give us a feeling of being limited, like we're in a box or we're stuck. Being labeled victim, that may carry shame, fear, or helplessness. Being may feel like you need to carry the strength. You need to be, you need to be the survivor. You need to be strong for everyone. But it can also carry the weight of expectations that we must be over it, or we must be fixed by now. No. What I want to explore with you tonight is how we redefine those labels in our own terms. This was supposed to be next week's, but again, maybe we can get her out next week. But this is what it was meant for this to be told. Someone needs to hear this today. That's what I will say. So we need to redefine those labels in our own terms, and how can we honor our pain? How we can honor the pain that we've endured, the resilience that we've built, and how we can transfer that journey into advocacy, empowerment, and purpose. So how can we redefine those labels and turn them into something that's transformative? You guys, tonight is Friday night, and it is a holiday weekend. Just put that out there. Last week was Afro-Caribbean Day, like they celebrate the African Caribbean race here. I don't know what it's called. I'm not good with terms. Please don't, forgive me for my ignorance. But they celebrated that last week, and then the next week, next Tuesday, I believe, it's Children's National Children's Day. So it's been holidays a lot. So you're gonna hear a lot of background noise. So that's just what it is. Pura vida. You gotta love it, right? So back to what we were talking about. This is not about erasing your story or pretending that the pain didn't happen. It's not. It's about recognizing it. It's about recognizing it. And it's about recognizing that your story is powerful, your voice is essential, and your healing can ripple out to others who need it. So many people need to hear it. So throughout tonight's episode, I'll be sharing insights from my own experiences, my own reflections, and from my own survivor skills and practical ways that we can step into this empowered identity. Get all those labels off of us. And it's not easy. But my hope is to, by the end, at least by the end of this episode, my hope is that you will feel inspired to reclaim your narrative, to hold space for your own growth, and to understand that healing beyond labels is not only possible, but it's revolutionary. It's an act of self-love and courage because you're not a victim. You're not. Were you at one point in a victim situation? Were you a victim? Yes. But you are now out of that. So we need to remove labels, from our healing, because that doesn't really help us at all. Excuse me. So take a deep breath with me. Find a safe, comfortable space and know that you are in a place of understanding, compassion, and support. So together, let's begin this journey moving from victim to survivor to empowered to advocate. Yay, so excited. I'm so excited. Okay, so now let's dig in. We're going to, I want to take a moment to share a piece of my own journey with you. And my hope is by sharing it, you'll understand that my healing was not easy. It wasn't just a straight, narrow road to say, hey, you were going through this. Now, if you walk down that street, there's your healing. No, it's not. It's a zigzaggy, windy, very dangerous road that I had to take. And it was deeply personal and possible. It was so messy. And it is still messy because, again, I am getting closer to healed, but I am so still in my healing journey. Okay. So we're going to talk about the domestic violence standpoint of it, because my abuse did not start where most people would consider what is my traditional relationship. A lot of people, where people are starting to learn more, but there's still a huge portion of society that doesn't understand that domestic violence is not just a romantic relationship. It is violence in the home with the people where you live, your roommates, a family member, a intimate partner. So domestic violence in my home started with my mother. She was the aggressor. I became the center of her violence when she began to abuse me. And growing up, I experienced assaults both inside of the home and outside of the home, because this also talks about being sexually assaulted. I was sexually assaulted at least 3 times before I was 15 years old. I know that there are so many people that has had more, some have had less, some not at all. But my story is that I was sexually assaulted multiple times before I even turned 15. And so that's where the assaults were, outside of my home. And yet, despite the chaos around me, I still fought to survive every day. I held on to the idea that one day I could be free, not only not only physically, but also emotionally and spiritually. But then as an adult, I entered into the relationship with my ex-husband, who was also a pedophile, trapped me. He sexually, a torturous, very torturous, intimate partner, violent situation that I wasn't sure I would even escape from. And when I finally did break free, I discovered that being physically free from the physical abuse didn't automatically erase the labels that I carried in my mind: victim, broken, powerless, weak. These words haunted me. Even after leaving that relationship, I found myself caught in cycles of proving that I wasn't weak. I was surrounded myself, around people who encouraged me to do things that were more about masking the pain instead of addressing it. Let's go out party. Let's go out and do these things. Let's go out and um, make a lot of very bad decisions, trying to show the world that I was strong. But inside, I still felt the weight of being broken. I still felt like a victim. I still felt powerless. I realized that I wasn't doing any healing. And the healing that I was doing, it was just feeding the trauma, reinforcing those labels instead of dismantling them. There were moments though that shifted everything. Moments of self-reflection where I started to ask myself, what do I need to really do to heal? What does it mean to truly reclaim my power? I went back to school. That was the first step. You know, I've always wanted to graduate college, and my ex-husband wouldn't allow me to even go. I had to hide getting my high school equivalency, let alone go to college. So that was my first step in reclaiming myself. I started to go to school. I went to therapy for a little bit, and it helped me unpack a few layers of trauma and I learned about holistic practices that really began to open doors that I didn't even know existed. I dove into mindfulness and intentional healing practices. I dove in headfirst. I started exploring techniques like meditation, deep breathing exercises, journaling with purpose, and energy work. I learned the importance of grounding myself in the present and honoring my body's responses by identifying patterns that kept me stuck. Meditation became a practice of connecting my body as a safe place rather than a battlefield. I like to take nature walks. That reminds me that growth is possible no matter how difficult the past. And rituals of self-compassion, daily acts of caring for myself, even if that means not sitting in front of this computer for 15 hours doing preparing for all of the millions of things that I'm working on and just laying myself in the bed and playing a couple of games on my phone. Self-care, doing something that I want to do instead of something I feel like I have to do. Those are things that I chose to help me as far as daily acts of caring for myself. And that stuff begins to chip away at the labels I carried for myself for so long, you know. And also not allowing anyone to tell me that's what I am. You don't get to tell me what I am. This is my journey, you know, and with all due respect, the problem with a lot of us is we're so focused on telling someone else who they are, we don't even realize who we are. So that's my job. I don't want to tell anyone who they are, and I'm not going to accept someone telling me who or what I am. This is for me to decide. And through this journey, I started to understand something crucial. Healing is not about proving to anyone that you're strong or worthy. Healing is about giving yourself permission to be whole exactly as you are. It's about acknowledging the pain, learning from it, and then choosing to move forward with intention and empowerment. Excuse me, you guys. I'm sorry, I just ate dinner. It was really good too. This is how I began to shift from feeling like a victim. This is how I began to shift from feeling like a victim to embracing the idea of being a survivor and ultimately moving toward becoming an empowered advocate for myself and for all of you, anyone who needs that space of healing. I want to advocate for that and also for myself. So tonight, I want to explore with you uh, what that transformation really looks like. I want to explore that with you because I know for so many of us who carry those labels, it's hard. It's hard to look at yourself other like anything other than what you were told you were or how you feel about yourself in that moment. And I want you to see that there is a path forward, even if the weight of the past feels really, really unbearable. Whew, that was a mouthful, wasn't it? Okay. So I took time, I took intention, and it took, oh, sorry, I didn't. It took time, it took intention, and it took a learning that self love and self care are not indulgences, they are lifelines. This is kind of off topic, but I have someone who was like a sister to me. I met her. She was actually one of the guests when I first started this podcast before, when I was on Spotify, which I need to start putting my stuff back on Spotify. I've really been slipping on that. But she's been someone who's kind of been like a spiritual advisor to me. We've just clicked. The other day she went to sit at her sister's house. Just to sit, she was pet sitting for her sister. And she just sat out there. She did not worry about anything that she had to work on because, like me, she has so many projects that she's working on. And she just sat there and enjoyed the scenery, enjoyed the nature, enjoyed the beautiful pets that were around her. And she was allowed herself to breathe. And that was something that she really needed because she has a lot of stress on her that is affecting her body. And this helped her heal, even if it's in a small way. So self-love and self-care, they're not indulgences, they're lifelines. That's the time for your body to relax, reset, and heal from all the stress that we put on ourselves every day. And once I began to accept that, I could start words that once held me captive, victim, broken, powerless. I could replace them with awareness, resilience, and advocacy. This is my story. This is not a roadmap for anyone else. It's just proof that healing beyond the labels is possible. And I hope it encourages you to see your own strength and your own path towards freedom. Okay, so now that I've shared my story and a little bit of my sister, she's my sis in spirit, I love her. I want to talk about a crucial part of healing in this journey. It's the shift from seeing yourself as a victim to embracing the identity of a survivor. For me, the word victim carried weight. Weight I didn't always recognize at the time. Being a victim, it kind of felt passive. It was a label that suggested my power had been taken from me and that I was defined by what happened to me rather than by who I am. So I was just somebody that was beaten down until they were just nothing. No, no. It came with shame, fear, and the feeling that I was stuck in a story that I didn't want to be in and that I couldn't escape. I was poor PJ who was abused by her mom, sexually assaulted, abused by her husband, ex-husband, whatever, had kids by a monster. That's how people, and that is how people looked at me, which is why the circle that I was around wanted me to embrace the word survivor. And on the other hand, that changed everything. Claiming the survivor identity was not about erasing the pain or pretending the abuse didn't happen. It was about reclaiming agency over my own life. It was a conscious choice to acknowledge the hardship that I had endured and recognize strength within myself, resilience within myself, and the ability to move forward. When I began identifying as a survivor, I noticed the shifts in how I felt about myself. My self-worth started to increase a little bit because I know I was no longer defined by what others had done to me. I began setting boundaries. Like, my ex-husband, he couldn't stand me because it was like, no, you cannot come into my home. I set boundaries with my mom too. Protecting my time, protecting my children, protecting my energy and my emotional space in ways that I hadn't allowed myself to do in the past. I stopped feeling like I had to prove my strength to anyone. I just had to honor myself, honor within myself. And the shift didn't happen overnight. It took deliberate practices, tools, and some support because I didn't have a lot to reinforce this new identity. And again, the support that I did have, they had me doing things that I shouldn't have been doing to try to establish that strength within myself when that's not really what I needed. Journaling is a way for me to witness my experiences. So what I ended up doing was writing a book. It went from journaling to writing a book, and it became my way to witness my experiences without judgment, to process emotions safely, and to celebrate moments of growth and courage, which is why I wrote that book. Writing my thoughts helped me see patterns, recognize triggers, and mark progress in the way my mind alone couldn't grasp. So, therapy. We're going to talk about therapy. To me, therapy was not talk therapy. The traditional therapy was not my jam. I do respect everything that was given to me and everything that I was taught in those sessions. And working with trained professionals gave me strategies to navigate complex emotions, trauma responses, and relationships in a healthy way. It did give me the language to articulate my feelings and tools and to restructure unhealthy thoughts and patterns, but it didn't help me actually heal. It was more of the other stuff, but we'll get to that. Community support. So this is what I'm doing now, connecting with other survivors and mentors reminds me that I am not alone. That's something I'm doing now. I didn't have that before. I did not have that. This journey and this year and a half, I have met some of the most wonderful people who's allowed me to be my true authentic self without me having to put on any mask and understanding my trauma and my pain and sharing experiences and receiving encouragement from those who walk similar paths helps me normalize my journey and reinforces that my healing is possible. So back to the things that I use, body-centered practices like walking in nature. Some people use yoga, mindful movement, and breath work that allows me to reconnect my body in a safe place and grounded in a safe and grounded way. Because after experiencing trauma, our bodies often hold on to this tension, this fear, this anxiety. And these practices, especially meditation, these practices taught me and they're still teaching me how to release those energies and reclaim ownership of my physical self. Each of these tools have contributed to the realization that I am not defined by my trauma. I am defined by my resilience, by my choices, and by my commitment to live on my terms. Moving from victim to survivor is a process. It requires courage, attention, and patience, but it opens the door to reclaiming your life in ways that were impossible while you were trapped by those old labels: victim, weak, powerless. So, as we continue tonight, I want you to think about the labels that you carry yourself. Ask yourself, am I living from a place of victimhood or am I stepping into the power of survival? Recognize the difference. Recognizing the difference is the first step toward reclaiming your agency and moving toward empowerment. So, as we move toward the close of today's episode, I want to invite you to take a few moments to reflect on your own journey. Healing is not just about hearing stories, it's about looking inward and acknowledging where you have been. It's choosing how you want to move forward. Ask yourself, ask yourself, what labels have I carried? So perhaps you felt like a victim, broken, powerless, or weak. Perhaps you are still in that phase and ask yourself, how can I redefine those labels on my own terms? What words do you want to use to describe yourself moving forward? Words that honor your strength, your resilience, and your courage. Because I know that you don't want to be looked at as a victim. You don't want to be looking at broken, weak, powerless, emotional, and all those other words that come with being abused and traumatized. Trauma survivors have this very big stigma on us, and it takes our community to show not only ourselves but everyone around us that that is not who we are. And we do that on our own terms, not for them, but for us. Another reflection I would like to ask is, what does empowerment look like for me personally? Ask yourself that. What does empowerment look like for me personally? Is setting boundaries, is it setting boundaries that protect your well-being? Is it speaking your truth, supporting others, or reclaiming your body in your time and your time? Sorry. There's no right or wrong answer in that. That's these are for you to reflect and think on within yourself. And your empowerment will look different from anyone else's, but it's yours to define. It's yours. So my empowerment looks like me doing this, sharing my story, hosting summits, participating in summits, going on podcasts, speaking. Your empowerment might look like something, a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, but it's your journey, it's your story, and it is only yours to define. So now I want to offer you a short, simple coping tool that you can do right now to connect your body and center yourself. It's kind of slow grounding exercise. I usually don't do these, but it helps. So first, take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Now notice your body against the chair or the floor and feel points of contact, the support beneath you. Next, identify the 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 you can taste. And as you move through this, remind yourself that you are present, you are safe, and you are in control of this moment. If journaling feels more aligned with you, try this prompt. If I could speak to my past self, what words of strength and hope would I offer? Just write it. Write it without judgment, just allowing your truth to flow into the page. And before we do close, I want you to repeat after me. I am not defined by what happened to me. I'm reclaiming my voice, my power, and my life. Take a deep breath and let those words sink in. Feel them as a declaration, a commitment, and a reminder that your journey of healing is ongoing and that every step you take is a step toward reclaiming your power and your story. So, as we wrap things up today's episode, I want to leave you with one key reminder. I say this all the time. Your story does not end in pain, it begins in power. Every time you speak your truth, set a boundary, or take a step toward healing, you're not reclaiming only your life. You're creating space for others to do the same. Even sharing your story in small ways can be powerful, a powerful act of healing both for yourself and for the people around you. And it doesn't have to be somewhere where the whole world can access it, like on social media. You can go to a support group, you can just call a friend. It still helps for you and for the people around you. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, unsafe, or need professional support, please remember there are resources available, which reach out to a licensed therapist, a trusted medical professional, or a crisis hotline if you feel like you have to. Because again, I'm not a licensed therapist, so I can give you tools that helps. But if those tools are not helping and you are becoming more, if you're spiraling down to a point where you're more in a crisis, then you need to reach out to help. You deserve care, guidance, and safety. And seeking support is a courageous step, not a weakness. Not a weakness at all. Um, Usually I have um, the resources, the National Domestic Violence Hotline number, but it's not on here right now. But it's okay because I have it on all of my other ones. Just check that out. National Domestic Violence Hotline and the National Suicide Hotline. Those are 2 resources that you can call if you need to seek help. So I want to thank you all. This is a short episode. I'm starting to shorten these episodes, you guys, because an hour is just a lot. I know it's a lot for you guys because it's a lot for me. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for listening. And I want to thank you for being willing to explore these conversations with me. Your presence and your patience and your attention mean so much more to me than you know. And if this has touched you in any way, I invite you to like, share, subscribe, um, you know, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe, comment. Make sure that you share this with anyone who may need to hear it. Make sure that you are touching the lives of individuals, not just for me. Healing is about choosing to take your life back. And despite the past, it's also about rediscovering who you are today. So, again, this message might touch someone who needs it. This message might touch you. And, you know, I want to make sure that we all doing our part. So everyone listening today, keep fighting, keep showing up for yourself, keep believing in the truth, in your worth, and in your truth. Surround yourself with people who will support you. Please do. Seek help when you need it, and never let anyone convince you that you don't deserve peace, love, and safety. Okay, so remember, like, subscribe, and share this podcast with someone who might need to hear it. Your engagement helps me reach more survivors, more voices, and more people reclaiming their strength. You can also leave a review or a comment. That lets me know your thoughts, your insights, or what spoke to you the most. Thank you so much for joining Insights of a Survivor tonight. And remember that your story does not end in pain, it begins in power. So keep your head up, keep your heart open, and never give up the fight to heal and to live free.
Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running. It's been dark way too long in this place. That bright smile long gone been replaced. From ear to ear, I see that fear in your face. Tell me when the last time you felt safe, cause there's some evil people in the streets. Evil at your front door, creeping while you sleep. It's time to raise up, show that evil we ain't weak. We don't turn the other cheek. I can show you how to be strong. Come on, follow me. Heard you looking for a hero. Well, look up. No more running from the bad guy. I'ma stare him in the eye like, what's up? I know the journey got hard for a minute, but I ain't giving this up. Yeah, I got the heart of a champion. If I get knocked down, I get back up. We go